Hey, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Self Love Sanctuary, where we celebrate the magic that is you. Today, we're going to be talking about a very deep topic that's often overlooked, but absolutely essential to our well being: self love.
Yep, it's time to put yourself at the top of your priority list, because if you can't love yourself, how do you expect the world to love you? But don't worry, we're not getting all cheesy.
So, we're going to be talking about real tangible ways to build that inner glow up. So, go ahead, get comfortable, get your favorite drink, and let's dive right in. Are you ready to fall in love with yourself, be your own best friend?
Let's jump in. Have you ever caught yourself just scrolling through Instagram, comparing yourself to others, and then just feeling like you're not enough?
Absolutely. It's so hard not to in society. With social media,
Oh, yeah.
it's completely impossible. And this is where you really need to know who your loving your authentic self and who your authentic self is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I feel like comparing yourself is just the easiest way to lose like that sense of your self-love.
Yeah, who are you? Who are you really? Because then you start to look at, who is this person? What do they have? Why don't I have it? Why don't I look like that?
Why don't I live like that?
And that is a downward spiral into absolutely the most toxic feedback loop that can be known to mankind. It's just a constant cycle of just negativity, back and forth, back and forth. And with social media, it can be a power. It can be a power tool to just, like us, promote mental health, promote people to feel good, but it also can be something very toxic.
Oh, yeah.
And it's realizing your weaknesses. And this is important with self-love. What are your strengths and what are the weaknesses that you need to work on?
Yep.
So if comparing yourself to others is one of your weaknesses, then at that point you need to work on, how can I limit this? How can I catch myself? And how can I make it less? How can I see the difference and say, you know what? Social media can sometimes be fake.
Oh, yeah.
So how can we just really look at ourselves for who we are and love ourselves and say, okay, I may not look like that, but I'm going to work on myself. So when you're looking at it from that perspective of, okay, why don't I look like that? What is it that you are insecure about? We have a visitor. His name is Zen. But when you look at that, how can I fix myself, right? So what are you insecure about? That's when you're starting to dive in deeper. What is it? Do I not like my body? Do I not like, what am I doing that I don't like? And how can I better myself? So is it my health? Is it the way that I'm eating? Is it, what I'm doing, how I'm functioning? Instead of just, well, she has blonde hair and I don't. Or she has black hair and I don't. Or she has this big, butt. Or
yeah, because that just takes such a big toll on your self-esteem.
Yeah. And these are just small ways of us losing sight of our self-love. I mean, we have a couple here where trauma also makes it difficult to see your worth and your value, especially when you're associated with people or in relationships that are extremely toxic. You will lose yourself. Trauma can make it extremely difficult to see your worth and value.
Yeah, just like negative beliefs about ourselves and what others perceive of us, putting others first, that people-pleasing person, suppressing your own needs. That's huge. So we tend to suppress our own needs to
make others happy.
Yep.
And people-pleasing can be as simple as, feeling sorry for something that you have nothing to do with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And which also leads to just always settling for less.
Absolutely. And one of the things that also is putting other people's first is people will look at self-love and be like, well, that's toxic. You're a narcissist or you're selfish. But in reality, how can you show up for people when you can't even show up for yourself? Like, let's just be real for a second. How do you expect to be someone for somebody when you're not even someone for yourself?
Yeah.
And you can't continue to not see your value and your worth, because your time is worthy. Our time on earth is counted. We don't know when your last minute or your last breath is. So you need to just be able to appreciate yourself, see and make time for yourself. Because if not, you're going to fall into a cycle of every day, the redundancy of life.
Yes.
The redundancy of every day, the cycles of just negative talk. And then boom, life goes on. Next thing you know, you're 50, 60 and you've been unhappy.
Yeah. And you got to know that everybody's timing is different.
Yes.
So that's why you cannot compare yourself to others.
No.
Because what hasn't happened for you is not meant for it to happen just yet.
Yeah.
And it can just take a little bit more work than others.
Just make sure that you're not settling for less. And this happens a lot when you don't see your value, you're gonna allow lesser treatment. You're gonna allow, friendships that are not adding to your life or value, or just people who don't truly care about you, and people who leave you essentially depleted at the end of the day and add no value or no water to your cup. Not that are filling your cup. We don't want friends that are going to fill our cup, because that means you're not filling it on your own. We want people who are going to add to our filled cup. That because we are able to give to others, we're able to receive as well.
Yeah. And that you feel whole and you feel complete just by yourself, that you don't need someone to come in and fill in that gap or fill in that happiness, always feeling like you need someone else. You should be just content with yourself.
Yeah. And we kind of want to give you guys what is self-love. So we really chose this definition carefully because we wanted to encompass really truly what self-love is, not what people say it is, not what like typical definitions of the internet say, like woo-woo stuff.
Yeah.
So self-love is the practice of valuing, respecting, and caring for yourself in ways that foster a healthy relationship with your own mind, body, and spirit. You hear that? Your own mind, body, and spirit, not others' mind, body, and spirit.
Showing self-love affects more than just you. It impacts how you engage with the world.
Yeah. Like, it's literally, you can't show up for others if you can't show up for yourself.
And that is so true.
And like, people really want to say, well, that's selfish, that's narcissistic, or whatever. But in reality, dude, you got to show up for yourself. How can you be good to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your friend, if you can't even take a look at yourself? And I know that sounds harsh, but it's a reality. How can you show up for your kids?
Oh,
how can you can't?
Yeah, if you're not happy, you're not making anyone else happy.
Exactly. It's gonna trickle down to, this is your energy.
Yeah.
And if you're not protecting your energy, how can others, protect yours or respect yours?
Yeah, when you don't, work on yourself, you get triggered by things so quickly. So quickly.
And with that being said, it doesn't look the same for everyone. What we want to get to is that as long as you're watering your garden, and we'll dive in deep on ways to water your garden and what does that look like. And keep in mind, what it looks like for me and Yana may not look like for you. And that's completely okay. So, I'm not a writer, but maybe you're a writer,
right.
And that's cool. If that works for you and that makes you feel content and that makes you feel whole, then go ahead. It doesn't have to look like Instagram. It doesn't have to look like TikTok. It doesn't have to look like Yana and I. So we wanted to give you guys a little bit of what self-love really means. So, number 1, it's self-awareness.
Number 2, self-worth.
How can you show up when you do not value yourself?
Okay, it just all comes to being able to show up. Yeah, your self-esteem.
Yeah, loving yourself, being able to look in the mirror and say, man, I may not love every aspect of myself, but I am a great person, and start off small. If you don't love your body, work on it.
Yeah.
If you don't love how you look about something, fix it or see the beauty in it. It doesn't have to necessarily be fixed. Sometimes it's just like literal inner trauma where someone has said something to you about your looks or whatever, and you've taken that and you've worn it, and now this is your reality, when essentially it's not, right? So love every aspect, every flaw, every beauty mark, everything that you have, because you know what? I don't have it. You don't have it. You're unique.
Yeah.
That's a power.
Yeah. Accept yourself.
Right into what we were just talking about.
Yeah. Just accept yourself for all the good, the bad. Just accept it.
And self-responsibility. Being responsible, discipline yourself. This means also being hard on yourself when you need to see the truth.
Yeah. Taking accountability.
Yeah.
That you have all the power to change yourself.
Yeah. And not looking for we can't expect people to save us, because in reality, no one can really save us. You have to save yourself.
Yep.
And if you keep looking for people to save you, you're gonna be there for a long time.
Yeah. The same with trying to save others. You cannot save anyone who does not want to be saved.
No. And that famous saying, what is it? It's, you can take a horse to drink water, but you can't make it drink. I mean, you really can't force it. So I have some questions for Yana today that I really want to just pick her brain and see where she's at with this. I know where she's at. I know what she's going to respond, but I want you guys to really hear how beautiful this evolution has been. So, Yana, what are limiting beliefs about yourself that you had to let go of?
that I'm not smart enough, that I'm not capable of being successful. I feel like I was very hard on myself. And those were definitely things that limited me a lot in taking risks. I always felt like I wasn't enough or I wasn't smart enough, but it's not that I wasn't smart. I was just smart in my own way.
Yeah. It looks different for everybody.
It looks so different.
She's a successful business owner, by the way, guys. So that doesn't come easy.
Yeah, no.
What were ways that you had to essentially let go of not feeling smart enough? What what did you do?
I kind of started to see like my small accomplishments, you know, and realizing, wait, I can do this. Or, you know, I've already gotten so far. Why can't I get further?
Yeah, absolutely. And what role did forgiveness play in this journey for you?
The main role of my life.
Literally.
No, literally. Learning to forgive myself, I feel like that is the start of the journey to self-love. Like we were speaking about, just forgiving yourself for the things that you may not be proud of and just taking accountability, moving on, believing in yourself.
Did you have to forgive yourself for doubting yourself?
Oh, yeah. 100.
Because that's hard. That comes from childhood. You felt doubt from somebody.
Oh, yeah. Or just always seeing, you know, my siblings and my cousins, you know, they were all in law school or medical school. And I was just like, man, like,
why am I not?
Why am I not? But it was like, you're an artist, baby.
Yeah,
let's go.
You're creative. You don't have to. You see, it doesn't look like.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to look like what everybody's look like. You know what their success look like. Your success can look extremely different, and it can feel different. We all have different purposes in life, you know, and we can't make it all fit.
Yeah.
So, another question I have for you.
Yeah.
What does self-love look like and feel like for you?
For me, it feels like a responsibility, something that I have to kind of just pour into daily, remind myself to love myself, to put myself first, to set boundaries. You know, I've always been more of a people pleaser, I would say. I would kind of suppress my own needs and forget about myself as long as I was making everybody happy. You know, and I realized you cannot make others happy when you're internally.
So, how did you realize you were a people pleaser? When did you come across the term, or when did it click?
I feel like I always kind of, not always, but for a long time, I felt like I was just always pleasing people and forgetting about myself. But that turning point was being in business with my mom. You know, it was something that I kind of always wanted since we've always been in the same industry. I was like, oh my God, that would be awesome, you know, to have a salon with my mom. I do hair, she does nails, you know, but it's not as easy because it's two different generations, you know, and I felt like I was always just trying to make her happy or not disappoint her, like not shoot her dreams down, you know, like her idea of owning a salon was completely different of my idea of owning a salon. And I was just like, wait, we can both be successful and not have to be together all the time, because my needs and what I needed to kind of just take off in my career and really feel happy was just changing, creating like a safe space, you know, good energy, places where my clients can come in and feel good, you know, versus my mom was more like that old school salon, like that cheapmate all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody walking in, making colada for everybody. And don't get me wrong, I make coffees.
She does. I was about to stop her right there.
It's too, but it's a different vibe. You know, it's a different vibe. I'm more of like that calm energy.
She is. I brought crystals into her salon too. I made sure, I was like, I'm gonna protect my girl any chance I get, because you know when you're dealing with people, energy is very transferable, good and bad.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, and that's hard to separate, you know, business and familial ties. It's hard.
It's so difficult because you don't want to disappoint, or you don't want to feel like you're betraying them. You know, because that's kind of how I did feel for a little bit, but I was like, no, I'm not betraying them. I'm choosing me. I'm choosing my happiness and just going for that potential that I know that I have. In a way, I feel like that also taught my mom to love herself and believe in herself.
Yeah.
And that she can also do things and be successful on her own.
And look, and they are both successful without each other, and they're still and together, you know?
And our relationship is 1,000
times better.
1,000 times
you
better.
See? It's crazy where you notice it. And this is a part of loving yourself. This is noticing, listen, I need to have grace with myself.
So much grace.
I need to understand that I do have some flaws and they're okay. I can water them. I can notice, hey, I have this thing where I want to please people. I want to make them happy, and that's okay. How can I turn that around and start pleasing me and make myself happy? Because that in turn is going to make everybody around me, the people who are meant to be around you, happy. And that's very important. How do you think your self-love has evolved over the years? Because I'm pretty sure it looked different in your in your teens to your early 20s to now.
Oh yeah, I used to think self-love was just looking at myself in the mirror and be like, okay,
I'm bad.
good.
I'm a baddie.
But yeah, no, it goes far beyond that. It was taking accountability for my choices, whether those were good or bad, loving myself, being in touch with what I want in life, how I want to treat others, and how I want to be treated.
Inner work.
The inner work.
Which is the hardest one. The outer work I feel like is a lot easier because it's like,
take
exercise. Take your ass to the gym. Or, it goes a little deeper than that, but for sure, going outside, getting fresh air. But inner work,
it's the hardest, but most important part.
Yeah, you got to look at that you're an onion, bro. You're an onion and you got to peel those layers, and those layers will expose so much. And you're like, I can't take it anymore. Like, take a break. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is self-love. That is looking at your layers, watering them, loving them, understanding them, and knowing that I'm not perfect and no one is perfect, but I'm going to do my damn best at being the best version of myself every single day.
So let me ask you some questions.
Oh my God. Here we go. I'm nervous.
All right. So how does setting boundaries relate to self-love in your life?
Ooh. Oh my God. This is pretty much the theme of my life. Boundaries. For anybody who is listening and has known me for many years, I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. As in, there was a lot of favoritism.
Okay.
And there was a lot of toxicity. And for me, at a young age, I couldn't really set a boundary because I needed to be around them. Like, it was kind of forced by my parents. Like, you need to be around your aunts and cousins, and and we didn't get along. Like, essentially, they treated me horrible. They made fun of me. They would talk about me. And I was always like the black sheep, and legitimately was the black sheep of the family. Like, this isn't like, people will say it, but so I knew the moment that I became a young adult,
okay,
I couldn't wait. I was like, no longer can anybody force me to talk to these damn people. And when I tell you, and I'm grateful for these situations again, because this is where I learned that boundaries are so good. They're so healthy. They're so freeing.
So important.
So important. I stopped associating myself as much with my family because of the toxicity, probably when I was 17, 16. Like, created a safe distance where I'm not in the space of the fighting and all the crazy stuff and the crazy cycles and the lies and all that stuff. And let me tell you, best thing I could have ever done. Negativity washed away. And the same thing for friendships. The same thing for, even the relationship with my father has boundaries too. So it's just creating boundaries that make you feel good and safe and conserve the relationship. And if they do not conserve the relationship, they're not for you. Another good example that I have was my childhood best friend. Love her to death. Shout out to you, Kaylee's. When we grew up, we thought we were the same people. And the lovely thing about me and Kaylee's is that we grew up together, so we were able to have these tough conversations. We thought we were the same that we were as 15-year-old when we started hanging out even more as adults. So we took our first trip. Mind you, we fought the entire time. And I'm saying this because me and her cried when you realize you're so different. We're so different. But we wanted to crush it down and be the same kids that we were when we were 15, but we weren't. We were evolved young adult women.
Yeah.
It's so different, So she and I had to realize, damn, we're different people, and that's okay. And we're best friends. And I love you for who you are. And then she started to see me for who I was and who she was. And I started to respect her more. She's more chill. I'm more like, I'm that person on vacation that let's get up at like 7 a.m. and let's go. Like, let's rumble. I'm that person. It's very annoying. You see, she was not. Like, she's more vibey. She's more chill. She's slow. Like, she's a slower pace. So I started to love that about her. She started to love that about me. So we got things done. And we got to really enjoy vacation with each other and really talk about, hey, maybe next time we don't do these things. Maybe next time we go through like a more chill vibe. Like we find something in the middle. And then I started to love her even more because I'm like, damn, my friend has grown so much. And this is an even more beautiful friendship than it was when we were 14, 13, you know? So those are like boundaries where she had to set them with me too. Like, this is how I am now. And I respect it. And this is how you are now. And I respect it. And I was like, damn. And I've always had the stronger personality. She's more like chill. Zen is back, by the way, guys. Say hi to Zen. And just things like that. And that's why it's so important to set boundaries, even in relationships, in personal relationships, you know? And to me, that's why boundaries will always be important to my well-being. And they are a big thing. It's not that you are, you know, selfish. No, it's just, hey, listen, I have a limit and I have a boundary and I have something set where I want you to respect me and I respect myself, and you're not going to cross that line. Yeah. We're not going to accept people to talk to you like you're less than. We're not going to you're not going to involve me in any negativity.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if
you're like
me,
consumed by negativity.
no, I'm not. If you are not adding to my life, that's a good enough boundary for me. So that was where setting boundaries for me became a very important, essential thing where I needed to make sure that I was number one in order to show up better for everybody else. So
what would you say are some misconceptions about self-love?
Honestly, the one that I've been hitting the most is people think you're selfish. You're not selfish. And they'll say, oh, well, you're narcissistic. I've never been told that, but I've seen it on the internet. Yeah. Or they talk about how self-love is woo-woo. You don't really need it.
Oh, yeah, you do.
You do, honey. You have not looked deep.
I was just going to say,
have you thought about why you're not happy? Or why you're sitting here talking about everybody else and not talking about yourself? Okay? Yep. So to me, the biggest misconception is, okay, you're selfish. And I've heard that before, the selfish. Like, I don't want to go out. Sometimes I don't want to go somewhere. I'm a homebody.
Same.
I'm paying rent. I'm trying to chill at my house.
Trying to get the most out of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to enjoy it. So people will immediately be like, well, that's selfish. Sometimes for me, healing is being home, like being home with my pets, being home, just enjoying my energy and vibe. So don't think it's selfish. Another thing is, you know, it doesn't mean that you don't love others or you're not putting others first. No, it just means that you're holding space for yourself and you are sacred.
Yeah. You know what you want.
Yeah. And you know what you want. You know what you want. And to me, that's why it's so important to just continue to put yourself first in a healthy way. Show up for others in a healthy way. If you cannot show up, let's say if you're having a bad day and your friend is going through it, be like, hey, either if you can put it to the side and then deal with your own. And this is not people pleasing in that aspect. It's just saying, okay, let me hear her out or let me hear him out. And then I'll talk to them about my issue. And listen, I'm not in the best shape to give you any advice or be there for you, but I'm down to listen to you vent. You know, it's just little things like that. And just know that self-love doesn't mean you have to be happy all the time. Also, please, whoever said that you have to be happy all the time and you're never going to have a negative thought, no, you lying.
You're lying.
Because how is that even possible?
Yeah, no, it's knowing how to navigate it.
Yeah.
And how to get through it.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
So no one here in this world is going to sit here and tell you self-love is perfect, where you're so happy all the time, where you have peace and just no negative thoughts. No, we're human. We're going to have negative thoughts.
And how would you say self-love has evolved for you through the years?
So I used to think, and this is like kind of naive of me, or, you know, not even naive, I think silly. I used to think that it was just going to the salon and doing your hair. On God.
To see me?
Come see you, do my nails. Like, I thought that was just like, oh, well, that's loving on myself.
Yeah, like just feeling good about yourself externally.
Yeah, externally. I thought that was it. I was like, but then I still didn't feel whole inside. So I was like, well, what truly is self-love? Self-love looks different for everybody. For me, it looked like now what it looks like now for me. It's therapy. It's going to the gym, yoga. Yoga is extreme. When I tell you,
Yeah, tell me.
yoga healed me, bro. That's therapy right there. Hot yoga, humbling. Just being in touch with your body, your mind. So also another one for me was reading books, taking your mind somewhere else, and then also being able to come back and I'm refreshed. And I think that was also healing because I read a book about, man, what is the name of it? It's What Happened to You by Oprah Winfrey. And she wrote it with a very famous psychologist. And that made me look at life so differently. We all have pent up trauma. We all have so much that we don't even think hurts, but it's there. So to me, self-love evolved in just looking at the insides of myself, peeling each layer, understanding my weaknesses, understanding my strengths, and knowing that as long as I show up for myself in the best way, the greatest people are going to be in my life. You know, the best things are going to happen for me. I'm going to be blessed. As long as I'm showing up authentically with a good heart, a good mind, and just being the best that I can be, that's all I can do. And yeah, of course, I go out for walks. I'm a nature. I'm the hippie. Call me hippie.
Sitting outside.
I love sitting outside. Take me on a trip and I'm going to spend pretty much all of the time outside. I am that person. I will take off my shoes, walk on the grass, get some fresh air, just connect to the earth. So just that's what how self-love has evolved for me. So of course, doing my nails still part of it, doing my hair, the external, part of it.
Yeah, that adds to how you feel.
Yeah.
But it's not all you need.
It's not all you need.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So I think that as long as you just keep watering your garden and seeing how it looks like for you, because for you, you might hate hot yoga. You might be like, this is disgusting. I never want to do this again.
Just dig in and see what truly makes you happy, what brings you joy, what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah.
To me, spreading kindness also.
Yeah. Spreading kindness. Yeah. To me, I didn't even think that was
Yeah, I learned that after.
I mean, we're in Miami, and I'm not going to lie to you.
It's hard.
Us Miamians are pretty close to New Yorkers. Like, we are not that nice. You've never heard that?
Yeah.
I was humbled at a young age because I would go to Baltimore all the time and New Orleans. People are nice. They ask you how your day is. I'm like, are you talking to me?
Yeah, that was me when I went to Denver.
You're looking around.
Yeah. Hi, beautiful. Good morning. Have a beautiful day. Have a blessed day. I'm looking around like, can I take all of y'all to Miami?
I'm like, are you speaking to me? So it's just like little things like that where you have to just see that it's different for you. I also think another one, the last one I'm going to hit on, is discipline. Is a big one. We get your butt to the gym. Get your butt outside. Get your butt off the phone.
Get off the phone.
Get off the phone.
God, it can consume you.
Oh my God. I've looked up and I've been on TikTok for like an hour. Yeah. I'm like, how?
And you're like, what have I done? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And then the thing for me is why discipline is so important, because you don't want to sit there, watch a show all day. And that might be a little bit of love for you. Like sometimes, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. But I'm saying that you shouldn't spend a whole day binge watching and then feeling like you did nothing. And then feeling angry at yourself because you're like, wow, I wasted my only day off.
And I didn't get anything done. Should have gotten up. So speaking of discipline, let's talk about some of the benefits of self-love.
Yeah, why is it so important to our well-being?
Yeah, nurturing your well-being, setting boundaries, embracing your worth, and treating yourself with kindness and compassion, even in the face of mistakes and shortcomings.
Yeah. With that, be in mind that when you are loving on yourself and really taking care of yourself, it's going to improve your mental health. It also helps symptoms like health challenges like depression, anxiety, and stress. The benefits will also extend to physical health as well.
And healing from your past.
Yeah.
Increased motivation and personal growth.
Lowers fears of failure, which is a strong one. Don't be afraid to fail. There is evolution in failing. There is beauty. It's a door. It's a door to see that, okay, sure, it was a shortcoming. But with this shortcoming, I learned so much. And how can I be better? I mean, how many shortcomings did we have doing this podcast? So many. And did we stop? No. Here we are, making it better day by day.
Definitely healthy relationships.
Yes.
Yes, when you love yourself, you're more likely to set healthy boundaries with others.
Yeah. Which reduces risk of burnout, resentment, and being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm. Increased happiness and contentment.
Yeah. Being grateful. That is another practice that you guys should definitely take on. I know it sounds a little crazy and, a little like, that's kind of weird. But be grateful. Remind yourself, another day of life, another day that my parents are on this earth, another day that my animals are alive, whatever it is that you have in your life, take a second and see it. Be present.
Mm-hmm.
If not, you're going to get lost in the rumble of life.
Yeah, it helps you also live a healthier lifestyle, make better choices for yourself, whether that's exercising, eating better.
Yeah. And it's freedom from unhealthy dependencies on others. So approval and validation, which is a very toxic thing in society right now, where we seek approval and validation for people who don't even validate themselves.
Yeah. You don't need that validation or approval from anybody else.
No. And then another one is stabilizing your self-worth, which is, like I said, if you cannot show up for yourself, you cannot show up for others authentically. No.
And then improved resilience to overcome obstacles, challenges, and stressful situations.
Now, the biggest question, what can you do to promote self-love? So we want you guys to take some of this knowledge and, apply it into your life.
Yeah, again, and what works for you.
Yeah. Understanding self-love is not difficult. It can be. It's something you can build, and you can do it one step at a time by focusing on a particular goal for yourself. So a couple ones that we have here is developing effective communication skills. So being able to communicate clearly when you're uncomfortable, when you don't no longer want to do this, when you're having a good time.
Yep.
Just being able to communicate with your friends, your family, your coworkers, and what it is in a professional manner, and as well as like respecting others too. You don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah, make it a habit of asking yourself if you would treat a friend as you're treating yourself.
Very important, because let me tell you, a lot of the things that I've done, I would have not accepted from my friends.
Oh yeah.
Like I would have been like, no, don't treat yourself like that. Don't talk to yourself like that. Also, which goes on to non-negotiable personal boundaries. I literally have in my notes app, a whole list of non-negotiables for myself. Things I don't allow. So if that works for you, let it work for you. But I literally have non-negotiables for friends and dating, which it comes with trial and error. And I've learned a lot of things that I just will not allow, and a lot of things that it's just, no, it's not a negotiable with me. So another good one is identifying and embracing your strengths, which is something we touched on. Don't just don't just look at your weaknesses. Embrace the good in you. Like how, I, for example, am strong at speaking. I have a strong personality. Other people would be like, oh my God, like that's a lot to handle. But I see the beauty in it. Like there's good in being strong, and she balances me out so well.
I'm a great listener. And I love to listen. I love to listen.
And she also brings me down from like when I'm Virgoing out, she'll bring me down
1,000 miles per hour.
Literally. If any Virgos are out there listening, it's hard out here for a pimp. But also planning and sticking to a self-care routine.
Yeah. And making time for activities that bring you joy.
Yeah. Hot yoga, reading, dancing with friends, whatever it is.
Yeah. Let go of the shame and be authentic with yourself.
Yeah.
Surrounding yourself with positive people.
Love yourself unconditionally. So this means no strings attached. And I wrote this down from the internet because this one really resonated. It says many people have certain conditions they place on their self-worth that determine whether they love and accept themselves. That to me, that happened to me so much. I had so much conditions and expectations, and the Virgo in me couldn't just stop and let things be. I had to be a certain way, and it overtook me. And then when I got to accept myself for who I am and better myself in the aspects that I didn't truly love, that I knew that needed work, so much better. You breathe fresh air,
Also investing in yourself, learning, always knowing that there's learning to do.
Yeah. That means if you want to go back to school, if you want to take on a new topic, like us taking on a podcast, we had to learn a lot of tech stuff that we had zero to any experience.
Yeah.
And we had to learn it. Sure, it was tough. Sure, it was, a lot of disappointment sometimes. But then when we got it, we're like, we got it. YouTube University.
See?
Also, another one is competing with yourself. How can you improve? So don't look at it as like a hard competition. Look at it as like, okay, well, I'm going to try this today. I'm going to challenge myself to go outside. Yeah. I'm going to challenge myself to start a conversation.
Yeah. Small goals.
Little goals.
But
tangible goals that are complete. Like, I'm going to go outside today.
That is so helpful because it actually pushes you.
It pushes you.
It pushes you.
Don't do nothing crazy. Like, I'm going to go to the gym and run a mile. Insane. If you're not like at that step. But do little things like I'm going to go outside. I'm going to talk to somebody. Or if I'm going to make a point today to, when I go to the grocery store, compliment someone, or just do stuff to get yourself uncomfortable in a good way, in a healthy way, for sure. And do activities that nourish your soul. So things that make us feel happy, comfortable, relaxed, whether this is a hobby, connecting with people that you care about, practicing meditation. Another good one is give yourself permission to take time for yourself. Please, it's not illegal to love on yourself or to take a little bit of time.
And celebrate your achievements, no matter how small they may seem.
Yeah. Take care of your mind, body, and soul. That's all you can do.
And heal that inner child.
Yeah, and that inner child, it takes a lot of work. I can't wait till we talk about that episode. It's not coming yet, but we're in the works for that episode, which is really fun and very, very deep. A core episode for sure.
So speaking of, let's talk about this week's words of wisdom. Let's read a quote here today. The hardest challenge is to be yourself in a world where everyone is trying to make you be somebody else.
Be yourself. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Self-Love Sanctuary Pod. We can't wait to continue to tune in with you guys. And if you feel inspired, leave us a quick review and rating so more people can find us and join our self-love journey community.
We appreciate every single bit of support. It truly means the world to us.
Yeah, and don't forget to tune in with us next week for our upcoming episode, Not Your Vibe, Let 'Em Go. And remember, you can't add to someone's cup if yours is depleted. Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.